Turbulence can be nerve-wracking, but did you know where you sit on the plane can make all the difference? In this video, I'm going to share a story about choosing the best seat during turbulence, backed by expert tips and personal experience. Just out of curiosity, where's your favorite spot to sit on a plane? Let me know in the comments. My first real encounter with turbulence happened on a flight to Barcelona. Up until then, all my flights had been smooth, and I barely knew what turbulence was. The captain advised everyone to remain seated and keep their seatbelts fastened, as we were heading into a zone of significant turbulence. I was seated in the first row, since at that time, my only priority when choosing a seat was getting a window view. It was the first time I experienced severe motion sickness, and even after the turbulence subsided, I couldn't shake the feeling of lightheadedness. That first moment when you feel the plane shaking can definitely be unnerving, especially when you've only had smooth flights up until then. Fortunately, there were no screams this time, though I later learned that it's common for people to react that way during turbulence. After this flight, I started my research on the best seat in case of turbulence. What I found online is that passengers seated in the front may feel less up and down motion during turbulence compared to those in the rear. This information didn't offer much comfort, as I was seated in the first row, feeling like my entire life flashed before my eyes when the turbulence started. Another tip for a smoother ride recommended: choosing a seat near the center of the aircraft, close to the wings. And makes sense as this area is the most structurally stable part of the plane. So I began trying to choose seats over the wings whenever possible, though when flying low cost, I usually just opt for the seat assigned to me at check-in to avoid paying extra. I recall a flight to Geneva with intense turbulence over the Alps. I was seated over the wing, while my friends were seated in the front, as they preferred those seats for a quicker exit. Once the turbulence subsided, it was clear from their faces that they had experienced it quite intensely. I won't pretend that I didn't feel the motion at all, but it was definitely much better compared to sitting at the front of the plane. And indeed, after testing multiple seats, I can say that the seats over the wings are the best option during moments of turbulence due to their proximity to the plane's center of gravity. The center of gravity is the most stable part of an aircraft, located near the wings where the plane's structure is strongest. Because of this stability, passengers sitting in this area experience less noticeable movement during turbulence. While the entire aircraft feels turbulence, the intensity of the shaking tends to be more pronounced at the front and rear, making the middle section more comfortable during bumpy flights. The wings play a crucial role in keeping the plane stable during turbulent air. When an aircraft hits turbulence, it moves up and down as it passes through uneven air currents. Since the wings are responsible for providing lift, the motion around this section is less exaggerated than at the tail or nose. This is why passengers sitting over the wings experience less severe dips and bumps compared to those seated elsewhere. It's essentially the point of balance for the aircraft, so the rocking motion is minimized. In contrast, sitting at the back of the plane often intensifies the sensation of turbulence. The rear of the aircraft moves more during sudden changes in altitude, creating a swinging effect. Similarly, seats in the very front can also feel more dramatic shifts, as the plane's nose responds to turbulence. The front and back of the plane are like the ends of a seesaw. They move more during turbulence. This is why passengers who are prone to motion sickness often prefer the stability of the middle section, over the wings, to minimize discomfort. And if you're sensitive to turbulence, choosing a window seat can give you more visual stability. Many experienced travelers and airline staff recommend seats over the wings for nervous flyers. The smoother ride in this area can help ease anxiety, as the feeling of turbulence isn't as intense. While it doesn't completely eliminate the sensation, it does make the experience less jarring, which is especially helpful on long-haul flights where turbulence can sometimes be unpredictable. Ultimately, while turbulence itself can't be avoided, choosing a seat over the wings offers a practical way to reduce its impact and enjoy a more comfortable flight. For those looking to minimize discomfort, whether due to motion sickness or fear of flying, the wing area provides a stable and balanced spot to ride out any rough patches in the air. My personal preference is a window seat over the wings, as this not only provides a stable ride, but also helps significantly with motion sickness. Yes, choosing a seat over the wings can affect the quality of your view, as the wing can obstruct the landscape. Additionally, it tends to be noisier compared to other parts of the plane, and there are safety considerations regarding the fuel tanks located in the wings. Despite this, I always choose a window seat over the wings whenever I can, and the countless photos I've snapped from airplanes over the years are proof of that. So if you want a smoother ride, aim for the middle section over the wings. It won't eliminate turbulence, but it can make it a lot more bearable. What's your go-to seat on a plane, aisle, window, or near the wings? Share your favorite spot and why in the comments below.